Rejoice over others' positive deeds. The word, rejoice, means appreciation of something. Rejoicing without the slightest thought of jealousy or competitiveness. Without these negative thoughts, we must rejoice over positive deeds performed, even by people we consider enemies. We have two objects of rejoicing: rejoicing over others' root virtues, and rejoicing over our own. When rejoicing over our own virtue, we can rejoice over virtue done in our past lives that we can measure through inferential valid cognition, and rejoice over our root virtue of this present life that we can measure by means of direct valid cognition. It is not difficult to apply inferential valid cognition to rejoice over our past lives. The fact that we have not only taken rebirth in this present human form, but have inherited favorable conditions necessary for Dharma practices confirm that we must have practiced generosity, patience, and the other perfections in our past lives. So we should rejoice. Rejoice over our virtues of this present life means to think over virtuous deeds we personally have performed. For example, recitation of the Holy Scriptures, contemplation of their meanings, listening to the teachings of Dharma, or any act of generosity, and so forth. Then rejoicing at these without arrogance. Because if we feel proud, our root virtues will lessen instead of increasing. Rejoicing over others' virtues means rejoicing over the virtue of others without prejudice. One's act of rejoicing must not be contaminated by negative thoughts like jealousy, regardless of what our relationship with the other person is. We should acknowledge sincerely their virtuous deeds and rejoice. This is the most effective mental technique to build a huge accumulation of merits. Rejoice at others' merits and virtues means from the time of our initial resolve for all wisdom, we should diligently cultivate accumulation of blessings, without regard for their bodies and lives. Cultivate all the difficult ascetic practices, and perfect the gates of various paramithas. Enter Bodhisattva grounds of wisdom, and accomplish the unsurpassed Bodhi of all Buddhas. We should completely follow along with, and rejoice in all of their good roots, big as well as small merits. Other powers. The power of others means the power or strength of another, that of a Buddha or Bodhisattva, especially Amitabha, obtained through faith in Mahayana salvation. According to Masters Chiai and Tianzhu in the Pure Land Buddhism, this is one of the two kinds of power for ordinary people. With regard to other power, if anyone believes in the power of Amitabha Buddha's compassionate vow to rescue sentient beings, and then develops the Bodhi mind, cultivates the Buddha remembrance, recitation, samadhi, grows weary of his temporal, impure body in the triple realm, practices charity, upholds the precepts and performs other meritorious deeds, dedicating all the merits and virtues to rebirth in the Western Pure Land. His aspirations and the Buddha's response will be in accord. Relying thus on the Buddha's power, he will immediately achieve rebirth. In Zen practice, we do not often hear the words grace or other power. Meditation and contemplation remind us to practice meditation and contemplation so that we can attain moment-to-moment awareness in every minute at the present time. And this is one of the possible ways to attain liberation in this very life. Therefore, own power is always emphasized in Zen. Own power means one's own power. Merit, intelligence, discrimination, the attempt to attain enlightenment through one's own efforts rather than by relying upon the compassion of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. According to Masters Chiai and Tianzhu, in the Pure Land Buddhism, this is one of the two kinds of power for ordinary people. As far as self-power is concerned, while the ordinary beings of this world, totally bound by their attachments and afflictions, may have some level of cultivation. In reality, they still cannot be reborn in the Pure Land nor deserve to reside there. The Peace and Bliss collection states, those who first develop the Bodhi mind, starting from the level of completely fettered, ordinary people ignorant of the three treasures and the law of cause and effect, should base themselves initially on faith. Next, when they have embarked upon the Bodhi path, the precepts should serve as their foundation. If these ordinary people accept the Bodhisattva precepts and continue to uphold them unfailingly and without interruption for 3 kalpas, they will reach the first abode of Bodhisattvahood. If they pursue their cultivation in this manner through the 10 paramithas, as well as countless vows and practices, one after another without interruption, at the end of 10,000 kalpas, they will reach the 6th abode of Bodhisattvahood. Should they continue still further, they will reach the 7th abode, or non-retrogression. They will then have entered the stage of the seed of Buddhahood. They are assured of eventual Buddhahood. However, even then, they still cannot achieve rebirth in the Pure Land. In our cultivation, we nourish certain qualities that support and propel us forward in emancipation. These are 10 qualities that Pali language calls parami, or Vietnamese Chinese calls ba la mat. These are giving, morality, renunciation, wisdom, energy, patience, truthfulness, resolve, loving-kindness, and equanimity. According to the Sanskrit language, paramitha means crossing over. 10 paramithas mean the 6 things that ferry one beyond the sea of mortality to nirvana. 10 stages of spiritual perfection followed by the Bodhisattva in his progress to Buddhahood. The 10 virtues of perfection are not only characteristic of Mahayana Buddhism in many ways, they also contain virtues commonly held up as cardinal by all religious systems. They consist of the practice and highest possible development. Thus, practicing the 10 paramithas will lead the practitioner to cross over from the shore of the unenlightened to the dock of enlightenment. Believe or not believe in theory of Buddhism is totally up to you. However, our emancipation never depends on external things and situations. Although all paramithas have the great influence in our cultivation, and this influence seems like the sense of grace or other power, paramithas do not come from some being outside ourselves. Rather, they come from our own gradually accumulated purity in many lives. Zen practitioners should always remember that it is our inner development, not any external agent, brings us wholesome results and grace. Thus, Zen practitioners should always develop and strengthen all paramithas within ourselves, and surely peaceful fruits are waiting for us. Without any exception, Zen practitioners should always remember that once paramithas have been developed through our cultivation, and they have been developing over lifetimes, we will surely experience an emergence of the essence of Dharma, and the road to emancipation is not far away anymore. There are 6 chief paramithas mentioned in many Mahayana sutras, such as the Lalitavistara Sutra, the Mahavastu Sutra, the Astasahasrika Prajnaparamita Sutra, the Karunapundarika Sutra, the Avadhanasataka Sutra, the Mahayana Sutra Lankara, the Dharma Sangraha Sutra, the Samadhiraja Sutra, the Bodhisattvabhumika Sutra. They are Dana Paramitha, giving Paramitha or generosity or charity, Sila Paramitha, holding precepts Paramitha, or morality or discipline, Kshanti Paramitha, patience Paramitha or forbearance, Virya Paramitha, vigor Paramitha or energy or exertion, Dhyana Paramitha, meditation Paramitha, or contemplation. Prajnaparamita, wisdom paramitha or prajna wisdom. Pranadana paramitha, vow paramitha, or vow for bodhicitta. Balaparamita, power paramitha or strength, or manifestations of the 10 powers. Apaya paramitha, expedient paramitha, or right methods or means, jnana paramitha. Knowledge paramitha, or knowledge of the true definition of all dharmas.